I'll start speaking. Hello all. Welcome to this webinar on project management and its whys, hows, and whatnots. I'm Gitanjali from Cisco, dealing quite a lot into management of wireless products for Cisco. Presently, that is my role to give a short intro about myself. And without further any ado, let's get started. So as you can see, I've given you a visualization here of a ship setting on sail and a compass. This is just an analogy to state that we are, as project managers, the ones who need to set the sails high, fix the mast, and have our own compass in place while we go through this journey of project management. So on the agenda, we have why is project management required? I'll be dealing with a brief on that, along with the complexities involved. Trends in project management, what should be the style you should be adopting as a project manager, what does the future hold, and display your A game always. So now let's get on to the first item on the discussion table today. Why is project management required and complexities involved? So conventionally speaking, we have always heard of project management having the following phases: initiation followed by planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. But we are in for a surprise, because this is what the PMBOK guide, which is the Bible for all things project management, gives out. So each of these, as you can see, has their own subheads, overheads, what all you want to call. So it's not a simple game that we are playing here. You are being a referee to a huge Olympics size of an task in hand. So you need to be well prepared, right? So I was talking about complexities, right? Complexities also are having categories. So when do you actually define complexity of a project? That's happening only during the profiling of the project, what we call, and that is usually during the planning phase. So in planning phase, you will try to analyze how complex is your project, whether it's a simple one wherein you are having just about 3-4 members, and it's a 3 months duration project to be at the most, or it is a moderately complex project, a little over 6+ months, or it is a highly complex project which runs over a year or so. This is your basic project profiling. So during this course, you will be analyzing your requirements as well, and looking into your budgeting aspects, which are very crucial, of course. And now coming to the complexities involved, you will be surprised that we have project management experts, Remington and Pollock, who have actually defined complexities in a project. So structural complexity, technical complexity, temporal complexity, and directional complexity. So here, when we talk about structural complexity, we are talking about projects involving multiple interconnected activities, and it's really difficult to manage those. You might say every project has that. No, we are talking about big multi-million-dollar projects, say, for example, engineering, defense projects, aerospace, etc. So these are the ones wherein you will have this kind of structural complexity at play. You need to analyze quite a lot here, and when it comes to how many connected activities are involved here, how many teams you are dealing with, etc., etc. So technical complexity is when you are having a challenge in understanding the project design in specific, if we have to talk about. So that way, it would be difficult for you to, come up with your own project goals and charter if you are not having a clarity on project design. Temporal complexity, this is more interesting in the present world. We dealt with COVID. We also have warlike situations, and these are the ones wherein temporal complexity is at play. I mean to say that if there is any sudden change in the legislation in a particular country wherein you're working on a project, that would definitely affect it. Environmental exigencies, like in this case, COVID, we saw. So that was quite a challenge, right? So these are the examples of temporal complexity. Directional complexity, yes. You need to understand where you are headed. You need to have clarity of your project goals. If the project requirements are not clearly defined, if they are very vague requirements, then there is a lot of scope for project scope creep to happen. So that needs to be avoided. So this directional complexity also needs to be handled. So once you handle all these things, what are the benefits you might be getting? Definitely nothing goes without bearing fruit, right? So your hard work will always be rewarded. So these are the benefits that you gain. Project transparency, if I have to quickly talk about, this is something which is like the sacrosanct of any organization. I mean, an organization is given a particular status in the society when it is extremely transparent in its doings, right? So that can be achieved. Better planning. So once you have a lot of things sorted at the very initial phases itself, it shows that you as a project manager is very adept at what activities you are having in hand. You have a clear vision. You are always hawk-eyed, literally, and you know what is in store next. You think at least 2 steps ahead. So that's what is one benefit you are getting here. Then effective handling, of course. You are in the driver's seat. You have your thinking cap on, everything. So you are an extremely expertised multitasker, I should be saying. So effective handling is something which comes out of project management. Then communication, of course, that's it's literally the rock of any project management, right? The studies of PMI says that 57% of the projects in UK, in a study conducted for UK finance projects, 57% of them failed because of lack of communication. So this is quite a startling stat, right? So communication is very vital here. Risk tolerance, of course, since you analyze and keep an active risk log, and you are always on your toes, you will have a definite understanding of what is in store next, what is the mitigation plan, and you are always ready for what if this happens, right? So that is one more benefit. Constant learning. Yes, this is a world of learn, unlearn, relearn. So these 3 aspects is something which every professional should be having on the back of their mind constantly. And it's for your own betterment, right? So career advancement happens and whatnot. So I mean, I really do not have to elaborate more on this. You guys will be able to understand it better. Enhanced quality, of course. As you go on managing these projects, there is this continuous learning cycle that you're having. You are able to manage any risks that come your way, and you understand what to do and what not to do. So the quality of the product definitely is affected in a very positive way. Productivity, of course. Again, this is something which is always looked into with a magnifying lens, in fact, when it comes to a project manager. So it's all about your numbers. Your numbers should be speaking. Actions speak louder than words, like they say. So that is something which you will be, seeing in higher measure when it comes to better project management in place. Customer satisfaction. So always a happy customer is always can only be a retained customer by any organization, and a retained customer in turn brings in other customers by word of mouth. So you really do not have to spend anything on your marketing aspects. Your sales guy can chill there. Marketing folks and literally have a good night's sleep every day, every night, I mean to say. So that's how you are actually contributing to the organization's overall health as well, in the growth of the organization. Next, moving on to trends in project management. We have seen the post-COVID era. That's what we are living in. So you actually understand what exactly I'm trying to speak here. Then comes to the technological advancement. This is the more interesting one. You just hear one a technological advancement and the next day it's gone, right? So you need to understand that you need to be a constant learner, like I mentioned in the previous slide. Something which is a hot cake today can be stale tomorrow. So just be prepared for the future. Let me pause here. I think I saw a raised hand, but in the middle of my presentation, I'll not be able to see who is doing it. So I'll take the questions soon after my presentation ends. Thank you. Moving on. So next is planning and utilization. I talked at length about the the benefits of planning and utilization. When we say planning, effective planning of everything, right from resources, budgeting, etc., is really required, and that leads to better utilization. So when we say better utilization, your resources can be manpower, which is in itself diverse, right? So you are dealing with different background people from various nationalities and whatnot. And utilization, as in, you need to understand the culture of the cross-country teams that you're dealing with. At the same time, the machineries, if they have to be utilized across teams. In fact, even suppose your server is located in a particular country and another team, multiple teams, in fact, want to access it. So how do you better utilize it? Plan it accordingly, set time aside for, allot the resources, basically, I mean to say. So these things are something which you need to handle. Then followed by result oriented, of course. Now, again, I'm putting my words back again. Numbers speak louder than words, actions speak louder than words. So this is what you're looking for: better productivity, quality of a top-notch level, and so on. And that actually spreads a good name about you in the circles which really matter. And also your organization on the whole gets benefited. So what style do you adopt? So interestingly, there is an expert by name Allison, and she has come up with these 5 styles of management: participative, network, mentor, pace setting, and authoritative. So depending on the situation, you will be actually able to pick, and you should be the best judge there when you want to pick which one and why. So when we are saying about participative management, I have outlined 3 things here: active involvement, piecing ideas and skills together, innovation, and creativity. So what you're trying to do is, you're sitting in the driver's seat, you know who your teams are, what are your team members like. You engage in a healthy discussion among your teams. Ideas spring out of discussions. Healthy discussions lead to, interesting innovations also coming into picture. So that is enhancing creativity, right? So that is wherein you will be getting maximum benefit. So extremely client-oriented organizations use this. I mean, you might say, hey, everyone is client-oriented, right? No, we are talking about, for example, if I have to give early field trials, this is something which is a privilege given to certain customers by companies which, focus on being client-oriented constantly. That is, even before the project is getting into the market, it is being announced live. You invite a couple of your clients and ask them to, have a look and feel of the product that you want to intend to, market out. So they will be your best judges. So that's what I mean by being extremely client-oriented organizations. They tend to benefit quite a lot when it comes to participative style of management. Network. This style of management is basically all about you as a project manager being the glue for the various teams that you're connecting. Building connections, having communication channels, establishing them between the multiple teams which are involved. These are your day-to-day activities, right? At the same time, you should remember, during this style of management, even though you are acting as the glue, you will not be the first person whom the teams will reach out to, because now that you have got them connected to A to B, B to C, and so on, they know whom to reach out at what time and for what reasons. So it gives in for a lot of positive cohesion and collaboration amongst team, and it's a completely hands-off management style. So because once you establish the connections, your work is half done. So literally you can sit and enjoy. So when you're seeing multiple teams, I mean, handling multiple teams, overseeing them, that's where you can actually utilize network style of management. So mentor, again, hands-on, hands-off. You are a coach here, literally, and hands-on as in, you might be dealing with high performers, at the same time underperformance. You cannot tell to an underperformer, hey, this is what at the most you can do. No, you need to see how you can enhance this particular person's performance, right? So act like a coach, try to hone the skills, see which is the gap you're seeing there, how many gaps are there, what is the kind of gap, and try to improve performance. So when you keep your employees engaged, That's when you'll be getting better results. And ultimately what you're doing, you are literally like this torch bearer handing over the torch to the next level, the next person. You're grooming these people. You have already been identified as a top performer once you sat on the project manager's seat, right? So you are just growing the next crop. So what best than being a mentor? Pace setting. Again, here it's hands-on, directive, hands-off. So it's a mix of a style here. When you are dealing with very aggressive goals and strict timelines, that's when you need to adopt this particular style. This is generally many times disliked, but at the same time, this can be a morale booster kind of a pace setting style of management, because when it comes to high performing teams which are working under tight deadlines, there is always a scope, a situation wherein there can be lose morale kind of a thing coming into picture. Team needs to be motivated, and that's when you will say, okay, hey, I want A, B, C, D done, and this is exactly what we are having a vision as, and it's up to you how you execute it within this particular time frame, and you just sit back. So you have done your job. Now you are not going to interfere into how they are going to deliver it for you, but yes, you have been the person who has directed them to do so. So that's one more style of management that we are talking about. Authoritative. Here, when we are saying authoritative, yes, you might find these negative sounding terms here, autocratic, micromanagement, but not, that's exactly not the situation here. This is all about the trust factor, which I have pointed out here. Trust factor at play. A good manager is always, recognized by his team members as somebody who is having their, overall good at heart. They mean good to you. They mean well to you. That's the reason why they are taking some aggressive decisions, tough decisions in a moment of crisis, so that a burden maybe which has been inflicted on the team sorry, is removed in a timely manner. So during the sorry, during the time of crisis, that's when you will be utilizing this kind of an style of management. So generally speaking, you need to see when you want to adopt which style and which situation demands which style to be adopted. So this is a completely a judicious judgmental call of yours, and you will definitely benefit in the long run when you keep changing your style of management according to the need of the hour. What does the future hold? Yeah, just as an analogy, I have put something which depicts future here. I hope I have done justice to the picture. So growth of project management software market globally. I read about this in an article stating that by 2032, we are going to reach very close to $20.5 billion as the compound annual growth rate. Presently, if I have to go back to 2022 figures, this was just a little over $5.3 billion. So you can see the huge rise uptick that we are going to see. Then coming to the need of professionals, 5 years from now, you will need at least 90 million professionals. That's the projection we are seeing now. So yeah, just ensure that you are constantly there in your best possible role as a project manager. Demand in developing economies like India and China. Yes, if you talk about these two countries, this is where production costs are the lowest compared to huge Western economies, right? So everyone seems to be looking at these two places when it comes to production. And that's when project management also comes to play here, because, the demand for productions is higher in these countries. Then coming to high attrition rate, give it or take it. This is this is something of a norm in IT industry as such. When it comes to the rebalancing exercises which the companies do, parallelly attrition also happens on the employees front. So this is something you need to be constantly addressing. The lower the attrition rates of your organization, congratulations to you. You are doing a fabulous job. I should be saying that. Artificial intelligence, who doesn't talk about it these days? So we are talking about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, right? So generative models are being developed. Artificial intelligence is being utilized to ensure that automation of projects is happening at a higher scale, better productivity is achieved, and so on and so forth. And ChatGPT, these days we are coming across reports in the news about kids trying to write their essay also using ChatGPT, right? So we need to be, knowing more about it, right? So methodologies, this is finally where maybe somebody might be thinking here on the call, why I did not talk about methodologies. Yes, we have agile, waterfall, a combination of the two, and so on and so forth. But interestingly, not a very high percentage is seen when it comes to pure agile adoption. Again, agile itself has safe agile and whatnot, right? So be on the constant run, try to understand what are the new methodologies coming into picture, right? World is flat. Again, this is nothing but it circles back to the hybrid world that we are in, more so after the COVID period. Anyone in any corner of the world sitting in a jungle of, say, Amazon jungle, and you just have an internet connection, and you can be game to any kind of job coming your way, provided you have the expertise and skill set required, of course. Now, display your A game. So I'll quickly show up the aspects that we are looking at. So what are we seeing here? Agile, adaptable, enthusiastic, constant learner, hands-on, less stressed leader. If you notice one thing here amongst all of these are all your soft skills. I have not addressed even one technical skill here, right? Technical skill, you'll definitely get it. You are part of the industry, right? Soft skills are something which is always a lacking in people who are part of the industry. So that there is a constant push towards being, on the top when it comes to enhancing your soft skills. So being agile, like the word itself says, be on your toes, be on the constant lookout of what is new, what you want to learn, and so on. Adaptable, yes. Anything, any change in the trend and technology, your client says, no, adapt this one. I want you to adopt this particular methodology, this technology, then yeah, be game to it. Just re-look into your project charter and see what best you can do, what are the change management aspects you need to take care of, etc., and so on and so forth. Enthusiastic, yes, of course. If you're not enthusiastic, how can you rub it across onto your team, right? So you are the morale booster for your team. So you need to be constantly enthusiastic. Constant learner, again, it's circling back to the aspect of learn, unlearn, relearn, which is the norm of today. And hands-on. See, any team you form in, a team will always first be formed, then there will be forming, norming, and then performing. So you will be seeing all of these phases of a particular team, right? So unless until you know what you're supposed to do, what your team is supposed to work on, as in you need to be the person whom they can reach out to when it comes to developing and understanding, developing learning. Hey, at the same time, I'm not saying that you need to be an expert in everything. Jack of all trades is always enough. Just be there to point out to the right kind of expert also when the need arises. So basically, you're hands-on in every aspect of the project management need. Less stressed leader. Again, like they say, never take tension, give tension. But here, when it comes to project management, you should not take tension, nor you should give tension. So this is something of a really good holistic technique that you should be learning as a project management professional. I would leave you guys with this particular quote. I have talked enough. So the way to get started is to quit talking and to begin doing. This was something of an interesting quote by Walt Disney. He happens to be my favorite because I love cartoons myself a lot. I have not grown up from my childhood, I guess. So thank you so much for being a lovely audience. These are my coordinates. You can reach out to me anytime. And let me stop sharing so that we can go ahead and ask your questions. Yeah. Do we have any questions? Okay, I'm seeing a question related to statistics on project management. There were specific tools involved here by Project Management Institute for calculating the same, and projects were calculated based on consistency, not on accuracy. That's the most important aspect here. Tips on micromanagement: be friendly with your team. Always be that person who can be called as the go-to person. And be the constant ever smiling morale booster that your team needs. How was the statistic regarding failing communicated? Yeah, I think I answered this question. So uh, which is the best project management certification to do? Definitely I'll vouch for PMI. Just take the PMP examination. Many organizations support it. Yes, so and also many of the certification courses also, which these days are being offered, specifically target the ones which your organization is promoting. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Poonam, Carol, and Madly to ask for asking these questions. I hope I did justice to your questions by answering to the best of my ability. And please continue to shoot your questions. I'm dropping my coordinates here again. It's gitanjali.gk@gmail.com. On LinkedIn, you can search me with my first name as Gitanjali and last name as Kalibhat. After Agile, what do you think the new methodologies that we should be looking towards to? Elaine, to answer your question, you will never know. Surprises come from all directions, and how, that only time can tell. So let's be sitting here to be surprised beyond what we would have imagined, right? Thank you, Carol. I see her raised hand here. Alexandra, do you have any question for me? Thank you, Martha. And yes, I'm speaking from Bangalore. Today being election day, it's a paid holiday here. And I'm really sorry if there has been any background noise coming in from my side during the course of my presentation. Alexandra, if you can hear me, do you have any question for me? I see still your hand is raised. Thank you, Alexandra. You can please lower your hand. We have 2 more minutes. I would definitely be encouraged if you have any further questions for me. If not, we can go ahead and close the call. Thank you so much for having been so encouraging to me. This is a big motivating a morale booster for me. And thank you again for being a lovely audience. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, that was my time. Thank you so much for being here, and have a good rest of the day ahead. Bye-bye.